What is going on, everyone? My name's Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video, and today it's the team selection preview series for Game Week 12. I'm going to take you back through how my team did last week. Spoiler alert, wasn't very good again, but I am determined to turn that around. And then how the team is shaping up for this week, any transfers that I'm looking at making, captaincy, that kind of thing. Before we jump into it, I did want to say that this video has kindly been sponsored once again by OneFootball. If you've not already checked it out, it is completely free. Loads of team news, loads of FPL news, and live scores and goals and assists on the weekend. So if you're out and about, it'll automatically send them to your phone so you can keep track of how your FPL team is doing. Just search for OneFootball on the iOS or Android stores, or click the link in the description below. Like I said, it's completely free. No harm in trying it out and seeing what you think. Otherwise, let's jump into the video. A couple of weeks ago, I scored 25 points, and I thought that would be the worst week of my entire season. It turns out Game Week 11 was even worse. So I scored more points, I got 33, but the red arrow was massive. When I got 25 points, it wasn't actually that bad of a drop. But getting 33 points this week, when people have got Lundstrom with 21 points, Soyuncu 14 points off the bench, Captain and Vardy, who got another goal as well, it took a massive rank hit for me, basically. I was just outside the top 300k, now I'm just inside the top 1 million, so nearly 700,000 rank drop, which is probably one of, if not the worst weeks in my entire 10 years of playing FPL. So I'm in a pretty bad state right now. The team was awful. It's not looking too good for next week. Probably going to have to rectify it with a few hits, which I'll talk about in a minute. So 584 points overall, like I said, just inside the million mark. So it's going to be a challenge now to turn it around. But obviously, I'm going to be here every single week talking about how I'm going to do that. And hopefully we can start this week. I think the points are still quite close. Obviously, I am quite far behind the top 10k, etc. now. In terms of getting back into the top of kind of 100k and stuff like that, I think it's doable over a good few weeks, and obviously there's plenty of points to play for. So looking at how we did last week, Pope 2 points again, rubbish against Sheffield United. Obviously really hurt not to have Lundstrom and that he lost the clean sheet. Not getting many save points, not getting many clean sheets. And, there's a lot of players in my team I think people would tell me to get rid of, and I would completely agree that there's a lot of players that I probably need to get rid of or need to start shifting on to other players. But obviously I have to prioritise. I can't just shift my entire team every single week. So Pope, not looking good, but next 3 fixtures are okay. I think I've got to keep him for them. Harry Maguire was my transfer, and I did it really late. Otamendi to Maguire once I knew that Maguire was definitely starting. Obviously, in hindsight, it's bad. I should have just got Lundstrom, played him, 21 points. He's gone up in price again. I'm going to have to get him at some point. I'm going to have to pay even more for him now. So obviously it was a mistake not getting him on my wild card. A lot of people asked me why I didn't have him. Obviously, he did get hacked, did wild card, and I basically tried to play the fixtures thinking that I wouldn't need him too often. But he looks like a player you could almost play every single week. So that was obviously a mistake, which I'll have to rectify at some point. But Maguire's got some pretty good fixtures coming up. Trent Alexander-Arnold, attack and returns, nice to get that. Still no clean sheet. I think you've got to think they're coming for Liverpool sooner rather than later. The fixtures are going to turn. If you can get them plus the attack and returns, it'd be looking good. And Diop was just awful. I mean, when I wildcarded and I put him in, obviously Fabianski wasn't yet injured. That happened, so that's not helped West Ham. But generally, they just look awful. So Diop needs to go, basically. And then looking at the rest of the team, there's not really much to talk about. Morpay, I don't know how he didn't get points against Norwich. Bit frustrating. Mount was really good. So although a lot of people are probably thinking about maybe getting rid of him now, I think he had a really good performance. And on another day, could have come away with points. So I'm happy to keep him for now. Sterling and De Bruyne are interesting because Man City's fixtures are going to turn. So I'm going to speak about them soon. Yarmolenko, another 45-minute appearance, which is super frustrating. And Salah, I think he only played 65 minutes. Mane is obviously the one to have. I think we've said that for a few weeks now. And Salah just looking off with that ankle causing him problems. So Tammy Abraham and Trent Alexander-Arnold really the only ones of merit to talk about. Soyuncu on my bench. The only good thing is, even if I hadn't bought Maguire in, I would have played Otamendi. So he came on for 1 point, so I wouldn't have got Soyuncu anyway. But a truly awful week, a truly awful rank. Let's see if I can turn it around. So I think my defence is looking good again this week. 4 home fixtures. Obviously, Trent Alexander-Arnold against Man City is a tough one. He might get a clean sheet there. That could be a tight game, but we have seen those Liverpool-Man City games be quite open before as well. So potentially a clean sheet there, but I've got to play him. I think Soyuncu home to Arsenal. I'm basically expecting Man City probably to score and probably Arsenal as well. So although Soyuncu has been great defensively. I'm obviously going for the attacking returns of Trent. Yes, Soyuncu got his goal, but for most of that match, if you watched it, was actually Johnny Evans getting on the end of set pieces. There was just that one chance where Soyuncu was completely unmarked, and obviously fair play made the run and got the goal. But as a general rule, I think Trent's obviously more attacking. Pope, like I've already said in this video, he's got to stay for the fixtures. Yes, he's someone that I could transfer out, maybe to Henderson, maybe to Ryan. They're about 11, 12 points ahead now after only kind of 11 game weeks. So it's only about a point a game week, but it does add up over time. But it can just take one clean sheet for Pope, maybe a few saves here or there, and Ryan and Henderson to concede, and then suddenly he's straight back up there. So I'm not worried about it yet. I think the ceiling for a cheap goalkeeper is not that high. So yes, would I swap Pope if I could do it for free? Maybe I probably would, but I think you've got to prioritise transfers, and he's not one. Tomorrow he gets played because it's Crystal Palace at home. I think they looked okay against Leicester. Ayew and Zaha causing the most problems, so perhaps they can do something against Chelsea. But I think Chelsea defensively have actually been okay, even if the clean sheets haven't come through. Underlying stats and how they've defended has been pretty good. Hopefully Rudiger will be back at some point. Kante fully fit and in the team week in, week out as well will help out there. So tomorrow against Palace plays. And Maguire, look, even whether you think Maguire was a mistake or not, I think Man United's next 3 fixtures are pretty good for clean sheet potential. We'll see if it happens. I mean, a lot of people have been telling me that they're leaky. And I do agree, Man United, results-wise, have obviously not been good. But we haven't conceded that many goals, only 1 or 2 more than the likes of Liverpool and Man City. And the next 3 fixtures, like I said, are good. I think they play Brighton, Sheffield United and Aston Villa. So I have to play him this week. So fingers crossed he can get something that Lundstram doesn't outscore him over the next 3. But got to play him. And I think the Bournemouth match was an interesting one. I don't think Bournemouth were that good. Man United certainly weren't that good. The weather was awful, which obviously played its part as well. So, you know, on another day, I think Man United could get a clean sheet in that game. Wan-Bissaka obviously made a mistake. Really nice play from King. But like I said, going forward over the next 3, hopefully Maguire can get something. So I'm actually a little bit hopeful with my defence, but that has happened before and it's not worked out well. But fingers crossed, Game Week 12 will be different. So midfield is where it gets really interesting. I definitely need to make some transfers this week. Obviously got big hitters in De Bruyne, Sterling and Salah that can free up a lot of money by transferring them out. Got Mount, who I've already spoken about. I'm going to keep him. I think the fixtures are still looking pretty good for Chelsea. He's looking good. They're still scoring goals. I think, like I said, on another day he would have got more points against Watford. So going forward, I'm pretty happy with him. I think Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, obviously Pulisic looking really good at the moment, but you know, there's always that worry that he'll miss out and Hudson-Odoi will play. So I think right now Mount looks pretty nailed on, so got to keep him. Yarmolenko is frustrating because when he plays 90 minutes, he's actually done okay, but West Ham not looking great recently. Burnley away, sure he could get points. We just saw Burnley concede 3 to Sheffield United. But this is a home game for Pope, so I'd be fairly confident of a clean sheet. So I'm not sure I'm expecting too much from Yarmolenko, but I may have to keep him anyway, which I'll explain more when I talk about my transfers. But eventually, obviously, I do need to get rid of him. Salah is an interesting one. Man City at home, then Crystal Palace away. It's probably not ideal. I'm not really looking to captain Man City or Liverpool players for those 2 fixtures. Would I swap him for Mane? Absolutely, I definitely would now. The ankle problem is not helping matters either. But again, if I talk about the transfers that I need to prioritise, I don't know if Salah to Mane is the one I need to do when I look at the rest of my team. So I may have to do it if Klopp says that the ankle's still playing Salah out. I'm sure he's going to play that Man City game. They're going to do everything they can to get him to play. But if the ankle is still playing him up, maybe I do just take the hit, get it over and done with. We've hemorrhaged so much value from not making that move now. Salah's dropped in price. Mane's up to 12 million, I think now. There's only 0.3 million difference, which is pretty insane. So I'm probably going to keep Salah for now because I think I've got other priorities, but he is one that I'm a bit worried about. And then you've got De Bruyne and Sterling. I'm wondering whether I can get rid of one of these players. Now, when I put the forwards up in a minute, I've got Morpay and Abraham. I'm thinking of bringing in Jamie Vardy, and it's very hard to ignore him right now. Yes, he got those kind of 4 or 5 goals in the 2 games with those red cards, the Newcastle game and the Southampton game. But even outside of that, he's got 6 attacking returns in 9 games, and they've had some pretty tough fixtures. They've played the likes of Spurs, Liverpool and Chelsea, I think, and Wolves as well. So they've not had the easiest fixtures. He's still come away with 6 attacking returns. He's got a phenomenal goal record under Brendan Rodgers, one of the best in the league at the moment. So I feel like I need him. He's got the form, he's got the fixtures, and he's also got the ownership. The ownership is really starting to hurt. And if you look at captaincy for the next few weeks, Man City and Liverpool aren't really standouts. Yes, you can still captain them. Maybe Mane gets something at home against Man City. Maybe Sterling and De Bruyne get a really good score against Chelsea at home, which is next week. But they're not like ideal fixtures. They're not Norwich at home. They're not Burnley at home, etc. So the likes of Abraham, Vardy, and maybe even Jimenez are looking fairly good for captaincy. So that's kind of what I got my eye on. So I'm looking at Man City's fixtures, and given how their fixtures fall and other teams' fixtures fall, I don't think I'd be looking at captaining a Man City player till game week 20. Now, when you've got someone like Sterling who's 12.1 million and you're not looking to captain him, that makes me think I can maybe get rid of him. Now, this isn't a be-all and end-all for the whole season. And once I get rid of him, I can get him back at some point if I want to. But obviously it is a big thing to get rid of him. But with my team value, I'm wanting Jamie Vardy, and he is one of the ones that I might have to think about going. Between him and De Bruyne, it's kind of close. I mean, De Bruyne is a bit cheaper, so it feels a bit easier to hang on to him. But attacking-wise, I think they're both pretty good. De Bruyne playing quite deep, though, which is a little bit of a worry. And obviously Sterling, you're always hoping he gets in the box and gets goals, but he might be the one to get rid of. So I'm going to put the forwards on the screen, and then we'll talk about the transfers that I'm looking to make. So this is the full team, and I think a couple of the mistakes I've made recently, obviously we've got that De Bruyne to Son move that I made a few weeks ago. I think I brought more pay him, knowing that I'd only want him for 2 weeks, then I'd look at shipping him. Got Man United away and Liverpool away, Leicester at home in the next kind of 3 fixtures, so that's pretty tough for him. Interestingly enough, his stats actually look pretty good. His underlying stats, kind of shots in the box, expected goals, they're all pretty decent, so he might turn that around. But I do worry that maybe just the inaccuracy from how he's shooting is going to punish him long term, and maybe he'll be the opposite of Vardy. Vardy doesn't get many chances, but he's absolutely clinical. Maybe Morpay is going to get a lot of chances, but not be clinical. So I think he'll do well for Brighton. He's on penalties, nailed, only 6 million. He could still be a good option. But I think because of the fixtures, I need to get rid of him. So that's a short-term move that I didn't think of. Even Maguire, yes, the next 3 are good, but then I'm then looking at getting rid of him as well. So a few too many short-term transfers. So this week, I'm thinking of making some transfers that are more for the long term. So Jamie Vardy in for more pay. Potentially I could move to 3-4-3, so I could bring Jimenez in for Greenwood and just drop Sterling down to kind of a 4.5 million bench fodder midfielder. That would let me move to 3-4-3. The only thing I'm concerned about with doing that is I still leave myself with Yarmolenko. I've still got no Lundstrom, so I'm still behind on transfers that I want to make because I'm making that switch to 3-4-3, so that's going to take an extra transfer to do it. The other option which I'm considering is still Jamie Vardy in for more pay, but instead of getting Jimenez in, I get Martial in instead and do something like Sterling to Maddison or Tielemans, whichever one it might be. I think they're actually pretty close. And then Yarmolenko to Martial. So that's Yarmolenko sorted, he's gone. I've got 2 Leicester players in, Vardy and Maddison or Tielemans. And my team's then kind of reset. Yes, I still want Lundstrom, but I think he can wait till game week 15 at this point. Or at least I'm hoping he can wait. Hoping he doesn't bang too many more braces. And Maguire will do the business. So he comes in later. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. They're the main 2 options. I could just do Sterling and more pay to Vardy plus a midfielder and just keep Yarmolenko for this week and just do that. But again, then I want Jimenez in. He's got the thing I like about Vardy and Jimenez is they've got a bit of form now, especially Vardy, on penalties for the most part, at least in Jimenez's case for the most part. Vardy's definitely on them. They've got the fixtures. We know they're nailed. They're going to pretty much play every single game kind of 80 to 90 minutes, so no worries there as well. And then as we come up to Christmas, maybe that's the thing I need. So it's almost like a team reset for me. I'm going to take a hit, kind of an 8-point hit, get the players in that I want, that I've missed out on, because I don't want to be constantly using transfers in the weeks to come to get players in that I want now. I want to make maybe more attacking transfers in the future. You know, if I only get Vardy in now and I still haven't got Martial or Jimenez, and I've still got Yarmolenko to worry about, that's another transfer I have to make next week. And then the week after, maybe I'm trying to rectify another thing. I might want to do Salah to Mane at some point. That's another transfer I need to make. So these are all the things I'm considering. Yes, a lot of people will say, well, you say don't take hits, but I'm not really that way inclined with hits. If you need to use them, I'm fully behind it, especially if it's for a long-term move. I think getting rid of more pay for a hit to Vardy, yes, it could punish me short-term, but in the long-term it should work out. And like I said, getting Jimenez in for Greenwood and going 3-4-3 could be the business as well. So I suppose let me know in the comments below, what do you think is best? Going 3-4-3, getting Jimenez in now, but sticking with Yarmolenko for 1 more week. The only way to get rid of him would then be a -12, or get Martial instead of Jimenez and just stick with a 3-5-2. Sterling and Yarmolenko to Martial and Maddison or Tielemans, and then more pay to Vardy. So no Jimenez, but obviously I pretty much reset the team in 1 week with the same points. So I hope that made sense. I tried to explain it on stream and I think it was a little bit confusing, so hopefully I've not confused you too much. But I have to take a big hit this week, I think. Sterling out is obviously a worry, but I'm not going to captain him for a good few game weeks. So I think at some point I've got to make the risky move, and I think that's the one. So let me know what you think about that. I know a lot of people are going to think that's a bad move, but with my team value, I feel like I have to have Vardy at this point. It's hard to go without him. So that is it for this video. I think it was a little bit of a longer one than normal, but there was a lot to talk about. Obviously, when you have a bad week, there's lots of thoughts going through your mind about who you shouldn't have. And I think I am going to have to take a big hit this week. I don't like to react to bad game weeks by making rage transfers and stuff, which is why I've not made the transfers yet, even though it was pretty tempting on Saturday, given the way my game week went. But like I said, I do think I need to reset. I need to get some of these players in that I'm missing, maybe get ahead of the curve on Jimenez. He's probably being talked about quite a lot in the community, but he's only owned by about 11 or 12% at the time of recording this, so not massively owned. About to go on a good fixture run with Villa up next, and obviously in a good bit of form. So let me know in the comments below what you think of what I've said, what you think about the state of my team, who I shouldn't get in, is there anyone I've missed, Martial versus Jimenez, etc. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, much appreciated as always. Subscribe if you're new around here as well, hit that notification bell so you know when everything is going live. If you've not already tried out OneFootball, like I said, completely free, iOS, Android stores, go and search for it now or click the link in the description below. Otherwise, I'll catch you tomorrow for the preview, Thursday for the stream. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers all.